evening, good evening. It's your boy Jay Taylor, Voices for the Voiceless, and I'm back with another video. It's been a minute, at least a week, since I did any content on this channel. Um, I hope everybody has been enjoying their week. Uh, it's just been real heavy. My last video I did was on the Epstein's files. Like last week's around this time, I dropped the video. You could go back and check it out. And I think really, just covering the Epstein files for me have really been just kind of heavy, you know, because it's like, for one, I had to reset because when I voted in this last election, and as you know, I've been covering the political aspect that's been going on since the election. Um, it's just been real, since last year, since we opened up this channel, it's just been real, like, based on certain things that I voted for, which were, the border, the economy, and the Epstein files was something I was never interested in. Wasn't nothing that I voted for. And still to this day, one way or other would not, you know, it wouldn't affect my vote moving forward, or uh, I don't regret my vote one way or the other. But just knowing that we live in a society where we have laws and checks and balances. And it just seemed like with these Epstein files and all these names coming out and, the allegations and how heinous they are, and it's surrounding all these high profile people from politicians to celebrities, and, just the salaciousness of the allegations of how wicked a lot of these allegations are involving babies and children and women, and knowing, that these people are a protected class of individuals. Even though we live within a system of laws, it just seemed like a certain class of people are above the law. Like you see all the time, these politicians come out here and say, no one's above the law, on the right and the left, Democrat, Republican, liberal, conservative. It just seemed like a joke to me, because it's like, we had these Epstein files with these allegations that are horrendous, the worst allegations where you can harm innocent children, um, you know, all this sexual perversion towards young ladies, and who's being held accountable. I mean, like, it just kind of I particularly did not and do not approve of the administration and the handling of these Epstein files, you know. So it was just one of those things where I felt like, well, I mean, dang, if we sneeze wrong as regular citizens, they gonna throw the book at us. But these people get to do the most horrendous. I mean, who's are these people that you're saying that are doing this to babies? Why aren't they being arrested? It drains you. It's draining, and it starts to, mess with your mental health and your spiritual health. Because you like, first of all, who could do this? Who could know this exists and not, crash out? Not, ain't no such thing as snitching when you're talking about harming babies and children and young women. And, where are the checks and balances for this upper echelons, quote unquote, of people that are doing this? How are they getting away with it? And if you're bringing out all this information with all these names, and make no mistake, and like I said on the last video about the Epstein situation, just because someone's name is in the files doesn't necessarily mean that they did anything incriminating. So what's the purpose? That was my whole thing. That's why I was telling people, a few months back, man, let's this is a distraction. Um, I don't know, what's up with Pam Bondi and the president, with these Epstein files, and what's the point if we're not going to start to see people be held accountable, right? So that's the frustration that I think most people are having with this whole situation. And even though one thing I can say about this administration is we would not have uh, this much transparency. I don't believe with any other administration, you know. But what's transparency without consequence, especially when you're talking about crimes of this magnitude, right? So I just took a break and just kind of sat back and just was like, man, this is heavy. It's heavy on my mind, heavy on my spirit, and I, like I said, this is not nothing I voted for. So it wasn't nothing that was a big to do for me as far as that. My main thing was securing the border, which they're delivering on. They have delivered on that, and getting this economy back on track. And I'm seeing that is, coming to fruition. I know it's gonna take a while. Like I always tell people as it pertains to the economy, it's gonna take it took us a while to get here, and it's gonna take us a while to get back to some type of normalcy as far as the economy. And I have been feeling the effects of a more stronger economy myself in my own personal life. So you know I'm still happy with my decision, but I'm also very critical of the Epstein files. And today, and as the title says, former Prince Andrew is arrested as in connection with the Epstein file. Woo! That's a big one. Prince Andrew, a former Prince Andrew over there in London, England, you know, he had allegations of misconduct uh, years ago. You know what I'm saying? And he was just arrested, and we don't know the charges or anything. Only thing we do know is that it is in connection with what came out in these Epstein files. So that is a plus as far as I'm concerned. Maybe we can start to see more accountability. Because if they did anything, because I'm like, who is doing this? And now we have one arrest. We don't know the charges, if any, but we see in some action, right? So all of this turmoil they putting us through is for nothing, and we starting to see some resemblance of some checks and balances for the elite, quote unquote. And I want to read some of this article that came out in Fair Use Fair Use Act for this is fair use. I'm gonna be reading from NBC. It says former Prince Andrew Mountbatten Windsor arrested on suspicion of misconduct in public office over ties to Epstein. Police arrested the former Prince Andrew on Thursday on suspicion of misconduct while in office. So while he was in office, they went back and following weeks of new revelations over his relationship with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, the stunning development marks the first arrest of a member of the royal family in centuries and makes him the most high profile figure to face criminal accusations in a scandal that continues to sweep in some of the world's richest and most powerful. The king, the current king now, has expressed his deepest concern at the news Thursday and stressed that the law must take its course. So the current king, which may be his brother or his uncle or somebody, is saying, hey, we got to let the law do the law. And before I continue, this is over there in London. So this dude, Jeffrey Epstein, this goes so deep, it involves people and leaders from other nations across the world. And just to know that something that materialized in the Epstein files here in the United States has landed a former prince of a country to be arrested. That is crazy. Let's continue. Mountbatten Windsor, who turned 66 on Thursday, has always denied any wrongdoing in connection with Epstein. So now the former Prince Andrew, 66 years old, the one that's been arrested, he say he has done nothing wrong. Okay. One email in the latest United States release appears to show Mountbatten Windsor, former Epstein, forwarding Epstein a report from his special advisor about the then prince's visit to Southwest Asia. So this has something to do in connection with when he was in office in Southwest Asia. Jesus. Let's continue. Mountbatten Windsor has not commented on the latest batch of files published by the Department of Justice. His arrest caps years of growing pressure on Mountbatten Windsor, the son of late Queen Elizabeth II, over his years-long friendship with Epstein, end quote. So this guy, former Prince Andrew, is the son of Queen Elizabeth II. This is powerful stuff, man. Powerful stuff. And like I said, the whole thing with these Epstein files is that we start to see some type of accountability. Because, I mean, you can't really do much with redacted emails that don't really have the names of pointing to anybody that may be, I mean, we don't have the names, we don't have the videos. All we have is emails talking about pizza and grape soda, and we know what it means, but you can't build an investigation off of that. We need more meat on the bone, so to speak. But this is a good sign that we're going to have some type of accountability. And once they start knocking on doors, and you got high profile people like Prince Andrew, he's going to talk. He's going to talk. He's going to implicate more people. And I see this to be a ripple effect or a trickle down effect. And it's gonna, whatever happens or transpires with this situation, is gonna open up doors for other investigations. That's my take on the situation. But hey, I just wanted to come to y'all quick with this news. I'm probably gonna be doing another video tonight that may premiere tomorrow morning. It's gonna be some real good news as it pertains to Black History Month. But yeah, man, this is a good sign. And, I'm going to stay in tune with this situation as it continues to develop and bring further updates. But yep, it's your boy Jay Taylor, Voices for the Voiceless. We love y'all. And until next time, we should see you soon. Peace and blessings.